Monstrous importation from Brooklyn.
A poet whose indecencies stink in the nostrils.
Roots like a pig among the rotten garbage of lascivious thoughts.
Iffy phallic audacity that insults what is most sacred and decent among men.
Stenches from the sewer, garbage from the gutter, squeals from the sky.
Peccatum illud horribile, inter Christianus non dominandum.
Those are just my literary critics. Sticks and stones. There are those that would break my bones. The Secretary of the Interior, Harlan, finds this book in my desk at the Bureau of Indian Affairs, deduces that I wrote it, and fires me. Boston District Attorney Oliver Stevens, together with Massachusetts Attorney General Marston and the Society for the Suppression of Vice, inform me that if I publish The Leaves of Grass in Boston, they will have it declared obscene. We argue back and forth, back and forth. I get my publisher involved, back and forth. Finally, they insist, absolutely, 2 poems must go. The first, To a Common Prostitute. The title. The title alone stops them. And the second is called A Woman Waits for Me. Let me read to you what was perhaps the offending section. It is I, you women. I make my way. I am stern, acrid, large, undissuadable. But I love you. I do not hurt you any more than is necessary for you. I pour the stuff to start sons and daughters fit for these states. I press with slow, rude muscle. I dare not withdraw till I deposit what has so long accumulated within me. Through you I drain the pent-up rivers of myself. In you I wrap 1,000 onward years. We avoid the censors by shipping the plates to the city of brotherly love, publishing there. Emerson warned me I am now officially banned in Boston. Meanwhile, Harvard Library has a copy of Leaves of Grass, and they have stamped it with 2 blue stars, taboo, and they keep it under lock and key, safely away from the students. Don't let them get to you. We will always have adversaries. Perhaps we're the better for it. I am more resolute for having been denied by all than I ever would have been had all accepted me. And we will always have allies. Listen to this. I received admiration all the way from Honolulu, a book and a letter. And he begins the letter quoting Leaves of Grass to me. What a way to get my attention. He writes, I am the stranger who, passing, desires to speak to you. Traveling interesting islands for the first time, I act as my nature prompts me. Not in America, not even in California, where men are tolerably bold. I sailed to Tahiti in 5 weeks to live the real life there, for your sake as well as my own. Affectionately yours, Charles Warren Stoddard. I've begun a letter to him. So far, I've received your beautiful, soothing South Sea idol. I warmly approve of your adhesive nature. I know that the Western world would, for the most part, condemn, but those tender personal relations in the Pacific Islands touched me deeply. Closer to home, I am admired by Abraham Lincoln in Washington, D.C. We see each other frequently on the streets. We never speak, but he knows who I am. Back at his law office in Springfield, he used to read aloud to his colleagues from Leaves of Grass. Imagine Lincoln's voice. I celebrate myself, and what I assume, you shall assume. And I am admired in England. Yes. Dear Mr. Whitman, for years I have been attempting to explain what you call adhesiveness. In Leaves of Grass, the comradeship is real, a strong and vital bond of man to man. I pored over Calamus as I used to pore over Plato, burning, panting. Tell me more about the love of man for man. John Addington Symonds. And he writes again, I might have been a mere English gentleman had I not read Leaves of Grass in time. It revolutionized, made me another man, a free man, made me love my brethren, seek them out with passion. Lovely letters, always writing, and he always asks, what does Calamus mean? He stands in the middle of the road and says, I will not move until you answer my question. Well, what do you think of that? Do you suppose that question could be answered? I mean, Symonds is right, no doubt, to ask the question, but I am just as much right if I do not answer it. And just as much right if I do answer it. I often say to myself about Calamus, perhaps it means more, or means less than I imagined. Means different. I mean, maybe I don't know all my own meanings. I say to myself, you too, go away, stranger, alien, come back, study your own book, see what it amounts to. Some point, I am going to have to answer him definitively about Calamus. Give him my word about what I meant, or mean it to mean. And then he writes, in your concept of comradeship, do you contemplate semi-sexual emotions and actions between men? He's not moving. Questions on Calamus daze me. That Calamus allowed the possibility of such as mentioned is terrible. The pages are not to be mentioned for such gratuitous, unreckoned, undreamt, morbid inferences, disavowed by me and damnable. That ought to stop his damnable questioning. One great difference between you and me is restraint. At certain moments, I let the spirit impulse rage its wildest, its utmost, its damnedest. In my Leaves of Grass, I do so. Now, if he's half as intelligent as I believe he is, when he reads that, he will understand that I cannot possibly answer his questions in a letter. He should have visited me like Carpenter, but the words of a famous American author in writing, he'd use that, print that right off. That's him, Simmons, with his daughter. Here's a mask he should recognize. Though always unmarried, I have had 6 children. That's not a lie, that's cryptic. It's code. Give me some credit. Your sexual revolution of the 1960s would never have happened if I had not written so freely and openly about sex and the body. Do I have to be the father of gay liberation as well? Simmons answers his own questions. Why does he need me to answer them? 6 children. Yes, indeed. There's Charles in Tahiti, and Abraham Lincoln in Illinois, and Edward Carpenter in England, and Simmons himself in England, and one more, Oscar Wilde. Oscar visits me. Yes. He's a fine, large, handsome youngster, and he has the good sense to take a great liking to me. I find him genuine, honest, and manly, frank, outspoken, manly. And he writes, "My dear, dear Walt, before I leave America, I must see you again. There is no one in this wide, great world of America whom I love and admire so much. You are a factor in the heroic and spiritual evolution of the human being. The kiss of Walt Whitman is still on my lips. Oscar." I write for those who will in future ages understand me. So 6 children, that's 1 president, 4 writers. Oh, yes, and the 6th, a painter reading leaves of grass as he painted this.
Dear friend, whoever you are, here, take this kiss. I give it especially to you. Do not forget me. I feel like one who has done his work. I progress on. The unknown sphere, more real than I dreamed, more direct, darts awakening rays about me. So long. Remember my words. I love you. I depart from materials. I am as one, disembodied, triumphant, dead.
I bequeath myself to the dirt, to grow from the grass I love. If you want me again, look for me under your boot soles.